Yo, we've got the evening time section. Now, I'm not sure this is going to be a two-part series or a one-part, but of course, we do have the DJI Osmo 360 as well as the DJI Action 5. Now, I know for a lot of us, we want to kind of take a look and see how it does in the evening time. Let's put these two cameras through the paces here in the evening time. So very curious on how the 360 handles in the evening. So without further ado, let's get this started. Let's take our first example here, and I really need to get one of these brackets that allow you to put like 4 on here instead of 2. So I would like to put the Pocket 3 and the Action 4 on here. However, this is all I've got to work with for now. It's actually a pretty nice evening here in Seoul, South Korea. I've been meaning to record some videos, but I had a really busy weekend at church. And even though I got this camera earlier on, as I might have mentioned in part 1 on the daytime comparison, it's nice to finally get out here and do an evening comparison. I'm wondering that the ISO might be too high. It might be a little bit bright on those signs. But I am really most curious about the micro jitters on the Osmo 360, because I'm a little familiar with the Action 5. But let's stop here and do selfie mode. Okay, so we've got selfie mode going on right now. Oh, I did forget to mention, and I'll probably have already shown it, but I am recording in D-Log-M, and not sure how it's going to expose the face compared to auto mode. But we shall see how this turns out. I'm definitely not being super steady on this, so I'm curious as to whether or not this is going to turn out okay. Yeah, it's a pretty nice evening. It just rained earlier, so it brought the temperature down. However, the humidity is a bit high. How's it in your neck of woods? I also do have the mic 2 connected directly to the Osmo 360. All right. Then horizon balancing the warp. So it might be a little bit wider in terms of the field of view on the Osmo 360 versus the Action 5. Now, one thing I did notice on the Osmo 360 is it does have an anti-flicker setting that, if enabled, it will help the anti-flicker, but then also bring down the motion blur. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work effectively in real-world situations. I'm not quite familiar with that. Wasn't in the action camera settings before. But let's stop here, take a look and see how the signs are. Just from the screens that I'm looking at, it looks like the Action 5 is displaying the signs, the letters on the signs, better than the Osmo 360. So while the Osmo 360 might be a jack of all trades, the Action 5 might be a bit better in this type of setting. Let's go to selfie mode. Okay, so we are currently in selfie mode. I'm curious, I might do a quadruple comparison here to see how the face exposure is on normal color profile versus the D-Log-M. My only thought process on the 360, I'm of course going to keep it. Number one, I am a camera enthusiast. So, and another thing is that Korea doesn't really have a return policy. So once you buy said product, unless you buy it from like Costco or possibly Coupang in Korea, you're pretty much stuck with your purchase. So you kind of have to do your research or know confidently that you want your product. So that is a setback of living here in South Korea when you want to purchase electronic items. And we are on normal color profile, with normal color profile being on vivid. I know for maybe purists out there, the 3200 auto ISO up to 3200 probably is not something that is technically a good strategy in doing at nighttime. So I do realize that. That's why I wanted to show you all the 100 to 1600 ISO range. I do have it on auto white balance. I probably should just lock that in the future. But how is this looking? Let me pan over here to the signage. I can definitely see that it seems like the Osmo 360 is reading the signs better than it was in the 3200. There is a Nightshot mode on the Osmo 360, but that pumps that ISO range all the way up to 51,200. So let me go to selfie mode. Okay, we are on selfie mode now. There is a feature where you can select your lens on the Osmo 360. However, they do not allow you to switch it when you're in 5K mode. You have to be down at the 4K mode, which is unfortunate. Another feature I would really like them to maybe implement in a software update is the ability to actually, instead of just switching back and forth with the Osmo 360 on the two lens when you're in the one lens mode, is to be able to simultaneously record the front and back lens in single lens mode. I think that would be a really nice feature. I don't know if you've thought of that. Let me know. Maybe we could get DJI to pay attention to this feedback. But if they can do 360 at 8K, you would think they could do both lenses simultaneously at 4K. But I mean, I'm just a layperson. I don't know all the technical things behind it. It did bring the screen brightness down a bit. I don't know how that translates in the actual video footage, but maybe D-Log M with the lower ISO range is gonna look pretty decent. My thought always is that the face exposure is gonna look better generally when you do auto mode versus D-Log M. However, with the Action 4 and 5, I noticed that D-Log M does a lot better on your face rather than auto mode when you actually record in daytime. So do not do auto mode with the Action 5 when it comes to exposing your face during the day. Use D-Log M. However, with the Pocket 3, you actually will get your face exposed a lot better in auto mode versus D-Log M. Can be a bit confusing. Let's do selfie mode. All right, folks, we're in selfie mode. How is this looking? You might not be able to really make out the exposure of the face very well because we are only up to an auto ISO range of 1600. But want to put the camera through its paces so that maybe I could save you all a little bit of time and maybe save you some money. If you are considering purchasing the Action 5 or purchasing the Osmo 360, maybe you won't have either one and you want to kind of take a look and see how these two compare. I really hope that this particular video kind of sheds some light, no pun intended, or I guess pun intended. But yeah, let me know what you guys all think about this particular setting. Very curious myself to see how it turns out. So, and because this is in 360 mode, I do have it on the invisible selfie stick, and it is, the cameras are technically not facing me, because if they were, I would have to stick my arm out really far. However, let's see how this looks. I might just make a 360 dedicated, like, third video or second video. But let's see how this looks, especially with me reframing it to make it look like we're just using one lens. Again, there's a little bit of jack of all trades with the 360. So you might, probably better at daytime, but you might be able to get away with not even using the one lens feature. So how does the letters look on the sign? Anyways, we're just gonna continue going this route. Now with the 360 mode, you technically don't even have to flip your camera for the selfie mode, but we will see how it's exposing the face coming from this angle, just like the one lens option and the Action 5 option. I'm not really doing a particular, I'm not trying to keep the camera super steady, because most people, when they record on the 360, are not going to be trying to do that. I would imagine, because I actually am doing these videos out of order, I'm doing the night video first, and then tomorrow I'm going to be doing my day video. But I would imagine that the daytime results on the 360, even in the situation where you're reframing, is going to have a whole lot better results than the daytime. The daytime will have a whole lot better results than the nighttime, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was paying attention to the people around me. So what we're going to do now is we are going to turn this into Nightshot mode. I'll probably have to go back and do Nightshot mode on the other one lens option, but let's stop here. Now when I turn it to normal color profile, I noticed on the Osmo 360 that it did automatically turn the enhanced mode on. The anti-flicker mode is also on, and the -2 sharpness, -1 noise reduction. But how does the normal color profile, 100 to 1600, how does this look compared to the D-Log M? I think that's nice to see if the normal color profile or the D-Log M is going to perform better in 360 mode. It is kind of nice just to hold out your camera and know that you're getting all the angles you want. All right, let's see how the signs look. And then we'll continue. A use case that I really see the 360, especially with the improved fidelity of resolution, I feel like the 360 is going to be really great, like when you're sitting down in a restaurant or at home with some family and loved ones, and just having a conversation, and having that 360 mode, you can almost like relive it, you know? And of course you could always reframe it, but I think in those type of situations, you can just basically hit record, do 360, throw it into Final Cut or whatever editor you use, and then that would be really nice to have, just to look around with a future 3D headset, VR headset, or just swipe around on your tablet. But having owned that GoPro Max and the Insta360 RS 1-inch edition, the resolution just wasn't quite there yet. And with the AK30 cameras, maybe they're gonna improve it a little bit. All right, let's stop here. All right, I went ahead and put it in Nightshot 360 mode. The only thing I changed was the -2 sharpness, -1 noise reduction. So in this type of situation, you're gonna definitely see a much brighter result. However, is that brighter result going to actually turn into something that's usable? That is the question that curious minds have. I can already see with the angle of the little screen that everything seems to definitely be a bit brighter. So that is kind of excited to see how this Nightshot mode turns out. Yeah. But yeah, the novelty of 360 I think is beginning not to be a novelty. Now that they're in their third iterations, well, sometimes fifth iterations with Insta360, but I feel like they're beginning to get on the edge of mainstream. Not really, but they're getting there. So these action cameras definitely make recording a bit easy. Now, you all who follow the Traveling On channel will probably know that I'm not really, I don't really do a lot of action, even though I am a big lover of action cameras. But as many people see, the action cams and even these 360 cams are great possible vlogging cams. So yeah, every once in a while I'll do something adventurous, but it's nice to have these small form factor vlogging lenses that, for example, the action cameras and the Osmo 360, you know, they can be out in the elements. You don't have to worry about rain. You can put it into the ocean or to the swimming pool, and they're pretty sturdy, one piece, no moving parts like the Pocket 3, although hey, the Pocket 3 is my goat. It was a thing that really pushed the Traveling On channel forward and up. But how did that Nightshot mode look? You know, I decided I'm going to walk around a bit more here in the Nightshot mode, because this side of this little street, well, this is a much larger street, but this side is much darker. So I'm curious with the Nightshot mode on 360 if it's able to expose my face. That who knows how the micro-jitters are. I am gonna go down here to the end of this block because we're gonna get a lot more lights and it'll be a bit brighter. So I think maybe the whole Nightshot mode will be a bit better, possibly, because right now we're in a pretty dark area. Like, for example, to my left, can you see that store? It's called Art Box. Can you see the lettering on that? It is technically on the stitch line. So who knows? Who knows how good this will be. But let's take a look and see what time it is. It's 9:14. It's a bit late. I am always in bed at this time. There has to be a rare situation. But it has been a hot minute, of course, that I haven't been posting videos on the Traveling On channel. Definitely want to reiterate that I very much appreciate you all. Thank you for the support. That car did not want me to stop. Actually wanted me to stop. What am I saying? This is me being up late at night. Yeah, we're gonna head over to my left and we're gonna see how things look here. But yeah, this part of Korea is not in the main, like, what would you say, super popular area. So that's why there aren't that many people. I think coming down here through the subway and up and out, I think it's gonna be too bright. So I'm gonna turn off this night shot mode. All right, so I just turned off the night shot mode. We're gonna go down into the subway station. So the subway station, the Isu Chongshin University subway station, is nice because it has 2 lines connected to it, which is one of the reasons why my wife and I chose this area. And yeah, we're here at lines 4 and 7. How well can you see that? Yeah, this, if there are police around, they'll get mad at me for filming here in the subway station, so hopefully we don't run into them. There's a police sign and there is a subway station police station down there, but it looks like we have avoided them. There is a Aladdin bookstore, and we're just gonna come through here. The subway's down there, but we're just gonna come through here and pop up on the other side. That way we don't have to wait at the stoplight. The subway stations also serve as bomb shelters in the event of worst case scenario, nuclear bombs or bombing, etc. Let's hope that never happens here on the Korean Peninsula. That would be horrific. Okay, so I'm gonna keep just the regular setting here. I'm not gonna go to night shot mode. And we're gonna see how things look. Pretty dark over here, but I'm going to go over to the next street where there are more lights. Right in front of me is a big open space that used to be the oldest, what we call Pekwajam department store in Seoul. And a couple of years ago they tore it down, and they're still deciding when they want to start constructing a new building. We're going to come over here and come over to this street that has a lot of lights. Now, it's probably, the night shot mode could probably work here, so let's switch it over to night shot mode. Okay, here we've got night shot mode. So we're coming up here on a brighter area. Now, I'm wondering if this is going to be too bright. But let's take a gander and see. I love the fact that the mic 2 connects to the Osmo 360. I think towards the end of August, the DJI Mic 3 is going to come out. And because all these products support the Mic 2, I'm curious as to what the selling point is going to be for the Mic 3, because DJI just does such a good job in allowing you to continue to use a previous mic that came out to connect to the new products. I'm going to stop here and we're just going to stop and let this, that kid almost hit it. This is Nightshot mode. Not moving around. How do things look? I'm going to change this now to just regular non-Nightshot mode 360. And this is a regular 8K30. This is, I believe, an auto ISO range of 100 to 1600 with a 0 EV. But how does this look? This actually, especially if you're not moving, this actually might be a better setting. I think where this is going to shine, this new iteration of 8K30 on these 360 cameras, is when you're not moving. I think the video is going to turn out really well. But, as a curious thing, I am standing exactly where the stitch line is. So I'm going to put my arm out. Now I can basically touch the Osmo. Yeah, how the stitch line look from an arm's length away. How is this looking? I can't switch out the screen because I'm not on 4K 30. So how does this look though? I'm gonna switch the lens out after pressing the record. I'm gonna stop this here. Okay, now I'm filming on the front lens, on the one lens feature, still in 5K 30 rock steady de-warp mode. Hopefully it's not jittering too much. But this honestly is, I hope this is giving you all an idea. I think my biggest hope, let me switch out the camera here. Yeah, I think my biggest hope is that I can pretty much relegate my action cams to be in my studio. I use my action cams for my Lost and Local podcast. Shout out to the Lost and Local podcast. But I'm hoping to just utilize the 360 for single lens and 360 mode, and just keep the action cams at home. But we shall see. I think obviously, I feel like the daytime will result in pretty good single lens and 360 mode lens. I feel like that's gonna do well, but it's all about the nighttime. There is a f1.9 aperture, or f1.9, yeah, f1.9 lens, f1.9 aperture. Oh, it's late. It's late, folks. But how is this looking? Let me stop this for a second. Let me switch. Look at this. Mega coffee is super popular at past 9 p.m. To be young. I mean, there are people that can fall asleep after drinking coffee, but I am definitely not one of them. Yeah, so how's this looking, folks? Not really making any effort to keep this from being super steady. This is actually a pretty good restaurant. The panchan is really good. The meat quality is, you know, probably average, but the panchan, which is the side dishes, are really nice. And they're really nice as well there. But it's what day is it? It's a Wednesday evening, so there's not that many people out. On the weekends it can get a bit busier. But one thing you might notice is there are a lot of females walking out on their own at nighttime, and it's completely safe. Korea is a very safe place. Something I definitely appreciate about my country. It's weird, coming up, it's August, so I'm coming up literally on 4 years being in this neighborhood. So we have been in Korea since 2018, but we spent 5 months in the States in 2020, and we came back around mid to late August in 2020. So it's, oh, what am I saying? 4 years, it's 5 years. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're coming up on 5 years in this neighborhood, which is crazy. Wow, 5 years. That's pretty crazy. This pool hall. Took my brother-in-law, played pool over here. But yeah, 5 years in this neighborhood. Let me switch out the screen. Yeah, back to selfie mode. Now the 4K 30 will allow you to seamlessly just switch the lens without having to stop the recording and start a new one. I guess the 5K 30 is just either the chip on the inside isn't fast enough or robust enough, who knows. But you can do it manually like I just did. This is D-Log M 100 to 1600 ISO, so how is the face exposure looking? Anyways, I think the old man has got to head home. But I have to say, even though I'm a bit tired, and I know my energy level isn't the most ideal, I have to say, it's really nice to be back on YouTube. It's really nice to press that record button. And I really appreciate you all so much. I'm looking forward to doing the best I can to be more consistent. And looking forward to interacting with you all down in the comments below. And yeah, let me, to know if you stayed for the full duration of this video. I think it would be cool to let me know. Let me know where you're from. Let's just make it simple. So if you're from California, put down in the comments below California or whatever state or country or city you want to represent. Comment down below. In the meantime, you all, thank you so much. God bless. See you in the next video. Peace.